Welcome to the legacy of Islam. Long ago, in a land ruled by a harsh and idol-worshipping king, a small group of young men lived among a community that had abandoned the worship of Allah. These youths, however, were different. They were firm in faith, sincere in heart, and unwilling to bow to false gods or follow the corrupt practices of the society around them. The ruler of that land commanded every citizen to worship idols and submit to his oppressive laws. Anyone who refused was threatened with torture or death. The young believers were aware of the danger, yet their hearts remained steadfast. They gathered in secret, shared their fears, and reminded one another of Allah's promise to protect those who believe in Him sincerely. Eventually, the truth of their faith reached the ruler. When he summoned them, the young men declared openly, "Our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. We will never worship anything besides Him." Their courage enraged the king, and he threatened them with severe punishment. Realizing that their lives were now in immediate danger, the youths decided to flee from their city to protect their faith. The Quran tells us that these young believers sought refuge in a cave on a nearby mountain. They prayed, "Our Lord, grant us mercy from yourself and guide us in our affairs." The cave offered no luxury and no safety by worldly standards. To them, it was a sanctuary, far from the tyranny of the king and close to the mercy of Allah. What happened next? A miracle. Allah caused them to fall into a deep sleep, so deep that centuries would pass without them waking. Their bodies remained protected, sunlight touched them only at angles that would not harm them, and their dog lay stretched at the entrance of the cave as if keeping watch. Their bodies shifted sides regularly so they would not decay, and anyone who might have approached would have been too fearful to enter. Allah watched over them as the world outside continued to change. While they slept, entire generations lived and died. The tyrant king passed away long ago. The city that once persecuted believers had eventually embraced faith and truth. What was once a land of disbelief had transformed into a society built upon the worship of Allah. Over 300 years had passed. When Allah finally caused them to awaken, the youths thought they had slept for only a few hours. They felt hungry and sent one of them to the town to buy food. They warned him to be cautious, thinking the same tyrannical king still ruled and that their lives were still in danger. But as the young man entered the town, he began to notice strange details: new buildings, different clothing, unfamiliar faces. The world felt foreign. The biggest shock came when he used an old silver coin to pay for food. The seller stared at it in disbelief. This coin belonged to a king who had died centuries ago. Word quickly spread about the mysterious young man who carried ancient money and spoke as if he lived in a different era. Eventually, the truth was uncovered. The people realized these were the youths mentioned in their own religious history, believers who had fled persecution long ago. Their miraculous awakening became a sign from Allah, reminding the community of the reality of resurrection. If Allah could revive these youths after centuries, then surely He can resurrect all of humanity on the last day. The young men themselves understood what Allah had written for them. Realizing that the world they once knew was gone and their mission had been fulfilled, they returned to the cave. There, Allah caused them to pass away peacefully. A debate arose among the people as to how to honor them. Some wanted a memorial, others suggested building a place of worship near the cave. Allah did not reveal their exact number. The Quran teaches us not to argue about the things that are unnecessary to faith. Thanks for watching. Walaikum salam.